Hello, my name is Jason JROCK Houston, and you're listening to an interview being done for Under Influence. My great pleasure to be speaking with lead singer, guitar player Stephen Crabtree. And Steve, you're the lead singer from Neil Young's, which is a great Neil Young tribute band based out of Seattle, Washington. Is that correct?
Right. Actually, I'm one of 4 lead singers. We all sing. So.
Oh, okay. Now, let me guess. Let me ask you: do you play the role of Neil in the band?
Well, that's where we differ from most. There's no one Neil Young character. The reason we're called the Neil Youngs is because everybody in the band actually had a chance to be Neil Youngs for a minute or so.
Oh, cool. That let me ask you. That's
the name Neil Young.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
We might get sued for it, and we're kind of looking forward to that too.
Well, I like that. That's what an original concept. Now, I guess the best place to start the interview off with is if you could share with me how you first, became a Neil Young fan yourself.
Wow, that goes back 30 years. My very first concert was the Rush Number Sweeps tour.
Okay.
I was 14. I saw him at the Forum there in Eaglewood. It changed my life. I've been a Neil Young fan ever since.
And now let me ask you: Are you a fan mostly of Neil's solo work, or did you ever get into any of the stuff he did with Crosby, Stills, and Nash?
Everything from the beginning, Buffalo Springfield till now.
Okay. And let me ask you.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, let me ask you, Steve. Like a lot of musicians I talk to, I imagine you spent years doing your own original music thing. So, what was the point when you decided, okay, I'm going to try to put a Neil Young tribute band together? What was that process like for you?
Well, it's all been recent, actually. I've only gotten in the tribute game in the last few months. I've stood back and watched friends do it for years. Played in cover bands, and it's just so important in my age and with other friends. Like, we want to keep doing this cover band things for other band bars, and a couple of us just sit down and talk, and I said, hey, what do you really want to do in a band? And Andy, the other guitar player in the band, he'd be, so what about a Neil Young thing? We all love Neil Young.
Wow.
That's kind of the idea took off. And then we just kind of also started telling ourselves, what if you always wanted to do in a band? Well, we always wanted to play theater. Let's play a theater. But what else do we always want to do? Why don't we film something? Why don't we send it? Why don't we do those kind of things? So this is all about us having fun, finally.
Well, that's cool.
Working so hard.
And let me ask you, because I love the concept. I wasn't even thinking the Neil Youngs. I mean, that's a great concept. I mean, a lot of times when you're in a tribute band, you have to have a little niche. And the fact that you guys got more 4 guys play Neil Young, part of Neil Young, I think that's a cool concept. I mean, how did you guys come up with that, or whose idea was that?
Well, it's probably more my idea, only because I didn't want to have to dress up and wear a wig.
Okay.
I wanted to play his music, but I didn't want to be him.
And so, what has been the response to that? Because I was going on your Facebook page, and there's one guy that looks a little bit like Neil Young in the band. So everybody's kind of, I guess, allowed to kind of go with whatever they look, and that seems to be what is working for his band, right?
Well, if you followed Neil for years, he really kind of had no costumes, kind of, he's not going to get or Beatle outfit or anything. We were all kind of wore Levi's and Comptons and that kind of stuff for years anyway. So we're all kind of being ourselves, which are just kind of old hippies like he is. We're kind of cautious about what we buy. We're not going out there in our work clothes wearing suits and ties.
Yeah.
We're going to kind of create the vibe. The whole idea really was to not so much imitate Neil Young and kind of be a parody of him. We wanted to go out there and pull people into the music the way he pulls us into his music. So there's some long jams, but they're jams that are fueled by passion.
And let me ask you, I mean, again, it's a cool idea that you have different guys playing the role of Neil Young. How do you guys go about deciding who's going to sing what? Is it a matter of just who's got the voice, the better sounding voice for each song?
Yeah, that and who knows words. Everyone in the band has been kind of singing at some point, singing lead in other bands for years. None of us sound, we all kind of sing in the same style and vein, so none of us sound just like him.
No. Yeah.
But the band feels very Crazy Horse, kind of. You know, that kind of vibe. As far as who sings what, it's kind of who's volunteered, who really wants to do a song really bad. There's a lot of democracy in this band. That's kind of the best thing too. It's four really good friends who decided to. There'll be no drama. It's all about having fun and all about doing what we've always kind of wanted to do in a band. You know.
I think. Yeah. I think having a band where everybody kind of gets a chance to kind of sing and shine and be in the spotlight, you know, a fair amount of time, you know, that creates an environment where there's not a whole lot of ego, you know.
Right. It's so far it's worked well for us. We're all actually just having a really good time with it, you know. And that's kind of the serious side of the Neil Young thing. Is you have one guy again, Neil Young, you basically got three side players, and who wants to be a side player?
Yeah.
You know, so even we have a drummer, this guy Phil, who sings really well. He's got a great background vocals, a lot of lead vocals. In most of his bands, he's kind of the front guy. He's kind of the front guy in his band too. He goes us guitar. So
wow.
Everybody gets their chance. You know, everybody kind of even does their own solo acoustic thing.
Yeah, and I think most people know the difference between a cover band and a tribute band is when you're in a cover band, you're doing songs from, you know, a lot of different artists. Like you might do a Rolling Stones song and a Tom Petty song and a Bruce Springsteen song in the same set.
Right.
Whereas like what you're doing here,
right.
People are going to come to one of your shows. They're going to get an evening of, you know, Neil Young music. Now, with that being said, a guy that's done both, you know, this is what you're doing now, but do you have a preference, or do you think like doing a tribute act is any easier than doing a cover act?
I don't know if it's any easier or any harder. I know I'm having more fun right now with it. But that's not to say I didn't have fun over years doing what I covered bands and original music. The thing with the cover band is the older we get, it's hard to find people that come out and, you know, or even places to hire a cover band.
Yeah.
You know, you can't play weddings anymore because people are 30 years younger and they don't want our music.
Yeah.
You know? This just seems like the natural thing for us to do, and it's working, and it's been a good idea from the get-go. So.
Yeah, and see, but doing a tribute band too, like in your case, paying tribute to Neil Young. You know, the cool thing about that is you kind of get a built-in audience. I mean, people are going to come to Steve and Neil Young. Okay, we're going to get an evening of Neil Young music, and so you got a built-in fan base right there. They already know the songs. You know, most people come to the show, whereas they come to see you play a cover band, they really have no idea what, you know. Like I said again, you could be playing, you know, Rolling Stones and, you know, the Black Crowes and every Tom Petty and everything in between. Whereas they kind of have a better idea of what they're getting when they come to see, you know, the Neil Youngs. Which, you know, are you at all surprised at the kind of success you've had doing the tribute thing, Steve, since you put together the Neil Youngs?
Not really. Like I said, I think I've standing on the sides for a long time watching my friends do it and kind of expected, you know, what we've gotten so far.
Yeah. Yeah. And
it's not a surprise, put it that way.
And you know, I think another thing you guys got working for you is the fact that, you know, I've come across maybe one or two other Neil Young acts, but there's not a whole lot of Neil Young tribute bands out there right now. I mean, you've got probably more like Led Zeppelin and AC/DC tributes out there than you do Neil Young tributes. And the thing with that is when you got so many tribute acts, you know, to one band, you know, the cream kind of rises to the top, and you better have something special to deliver. And that's something you guys really don't have to worry about, because again, you don't have a truckload of competition as far as competing, you know, a bunch of Neil Young tributes out there.
No, not really. We you know, when we started out, we went out online and checked out. They're kind of scattered out all over the country. Where we're at, there's no Neil Young tribute band.
Yeah, so.
And another good thing about it is he's got a truckload of tunes. You know, you can stick your hand into a bucket and grab out a song without knowing what it is, pull it out, and the song you can pull off at a tribute gig. You know?
Yeah, and so
we're never going to run out of material either.
And so, how choreographed is your show? I mean, do you guys, like you said, there's no shortage of material, but do you, like, if somebody was to come to your show and see you guys, like, you know, 2 or 3 times, would they be getting the same set list every time, or do you guys mix it up, you know, every show?
It it might if you come 2 nights in a row. But, we're constantly adding new tunes to the list. And the list is growing. Now we throw out some things kind of pretty regularly, Old Man and After the Rest for people really are familiar with. We're taking into other things too. I'm picking things up for like a Glory where hardcore Neil Young fans may know, but they know they heard it for the first time.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're constantly learning new tunes. The list just keeps growing. So
Yeah, and of course, as far as comes to the set list, you got to play some of the big, hits. But being that you have 4 guys doing Neil Young, is the set list pretty much where kind of each guy kind of, okay, these are the 4 or 5 songs that I'm going to sing, and is that how it's been working for you guys, or do you guys come up with more of an agreement, like, no, these are the 15 songs we're going to do in the set?
What do you mean?
Well, like, I mean,
we just kind of.
You kind of just get up there and kind of wing it, or do you guys do you rehearse much?
No. We try to rehearse at least once a week. And mostly not because we need it, obviously, but we just like getting together and playing.
Yeah.
Most times when we're getting together, we play and then we end up bullshitting a lot afterward. Like, see, this whole thing has just kind of turned into more of a gang of 4 friends going on this kind of like young kind of trip.
Yeah.
And turned into a show, turned into a tribute band, and
because
we try to incorporate like little film footages of Neil while we're playing. Try to tell some sort of story about him. We try to make it a show each time we play.
And I guess what I'm asking, as far as coming up with a set list, like, let's say when you go to a rehearsal, in your case, Steve, do you kind of tell the rest of the guys in the band, okay, these are the 4 or 5 songs that I want to perform at the next show when we do it, and then does each kind of guy that's playing the role of Neil Young, do they kind of get to pick the songs they want to do, or do you kind of have a band meeting and just all discuss?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we email each other back and forth all week long. Hey, check out this song. We'll find something on YouTube, a live performance of it too. Hey, let's try it this way. So we're constantly chattering with each other while we're at work or whatever with email. So when we get to rehearsal, we kind of know what the agenda is, so there's no time wasted, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. There's no one guy in charge. Right up the list.
Oh, that's like you said, a democracy. That makes it so cool.
Yeah.
And what is the tribute scene like up there in Seattle, where you're from?
It's actually pretty popular. I'm from your area. I'm from Long Beach.
Okay.
I moved up here several years ago.
Wow.
I wasn't too familiar with the tribute game a little bit, but as I got to play in other bands with other musicians, I realized that a lot of these guys, there's a huge circle of musicians that are doing all these tributes, and we have casinos up here, and small theaters that house that kind of stuff. So it's a pretty popular genre.
Oh yeah.
And for the reasons you were saying earlier, it's like people know what they're going to get when they go there. And so a lot of these bands, if they take it pretty serious, they really want to, they want to do things note for note. They want when people come out to pay to see them play, they're going to get what they expect.
Yeah, and
it's kind of cool.
And the great thing about being a Neil Young tribute, like I said earlier, is there's not a lot of other bands, doing Neil Young, and the man himself is still out there touring and performing, but he doesn't do it as often as he did back in the day. So you guys are keeping the music and the legacy alive, which I think is a great thing.
Right. Well, that's kind of what we're hoping people think when they say this today. That they know they're not getting Neil Young, but they're getting Neil Young's music.
Which is kind of
4 guys that love it just as much as Neil themselves.
Which is kind of a unique thing, because again, Neil Young, his music's kind of timeless. Like I said, you got fans that are just getting turned on to him. Today, and the guys have been listening to him for 20 or 30 years. So, he's a guy that people are constantly getting into.
Right. Yeah, he's got fans that span 30 years, several generations. Grandkids. Fans are my kids are Neil Young fans.
Yeah, and I think what's cool about doing a band like the Neil Youngs too is it's not just you paying tribute to you got 3 other guys playing the part of Neil Young, and so each guy is kind of doing their interpretation of Neil Young, which is when people come to see the Neil Youngs, the show is that much better, I think, for that reason alone.
Oh yeah, we think so.
Yeah.
It's we try to give it its own little niche, something a little bit different than the average kind of tribute band. Like I said, none of us wanted to dress up like Neil Young.
Yeah.
But we all wanted to be in a band together, and what could we do to make it fun? None of us wanted to do this and go out and play bars for $100 a night for nobody.
Yeah. Well, see, again, you got to have that little niche, like you said, and I think you guys definitely got that going. I mean, I had no idea until you explained that to me. That this is the concept of band. We got not just one guy dressed up like Neil Young, but we got 4 guys. And I thought, wow, what a cool thing! Because that is really something I've never even heard of before. So. For that reason alone, you guys are giving people, something really special that I don't think have gone with any other band. And now let me ask you again, if you don't necessarily look like Neil Young, you look pretty close to him, and the other guys, they at least dress how.
Well, we look like musicians, I guess.
I mean, you try to do your best to.
I think I kind of know where you're going with it.
I mean, you try to dress. You try to dress up like. Yeah. You try to dress up how he would dress up.
Musicians.
Yeah, is my point. And
musicians, our hair is a little bit long. And,
yeah.
We're in good shape. The music keeps us young.
Uh-huh.
We probably don't look our age.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess my point I'm making is, like, if you guys were just four or five guys getting up on stage and really giving us an evening of Neil Young, but you were just playing in your jeans and t-shirts, it wouldn't quite be the same experience, if you know what I mean. I kind of
right, and we're not doing that. We're being ourselves. We're being ourselves the way we go out and we play anyway. We don't wear our suits and ties, or we don't go, in our khakis and flip flops and stuff like that. We dress the part, but we don't overdress either. Yeah.
And that allows you too to have a certain level of originality, if you know what I mean.
Right.
I mean, this is kind of rock and roll theater to me, and you're kind of right, Steve. You take it to as far as you want to take it, and you've kind of taken it to as far as you guys want to take it. But it seems to be working now. We were talking a little bit earlier about the tribute scene in Seattle, where you guys are from. One thing that I've really enjoyed about a tribute scene, my experience has been that unlike if you were doing an original band where you might be competing with a lot of other bands, the tribute bands, what I really dig about the scene is they seem to it's almost like a brotherhood, a fraternity, where they will help their fellow tribute band out. Like, hey, we need somebody to open up our show next week. Would you guys like to open up a show? Or hey, hey, one of our guys is sick. Could you come and sub for him? And I think when I see stuff like that, I just think it's really a great thing, rather than bands trying to slam one another and compete with one another.
No, I agree. Here's exactly that. There's a really cool community of musicians that are all doing the tribute thing, and they have tribute Thursdays at certain places and tribute Tuesdays, and all these bands frequent these places, and we all go and watch each other and support it. And several guys are in several different bands, doing this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think kind of that's what turned me on to it. For all those reasons you were talking earlier with cover bands or original bands, there's this weird kind of competition, trying to one up everybody. What I've noticed with us doing this is a lot of support. That a lot of guys want to come up and we're going to turn this into too. It's kind of a circus. We'll have a pedal steel player play with us once in a while, or a piano player where it needs it. All these musicians want to be part of what we're doing. We want to be part of what they're doing, and it's it's this really cool community of support.
Yeah, and the cool thing about it is, for people coming to check out the show, even though you're not like a Neil Young clone, if you know what I mean, if you play the music, the way he plays it, and and somebody's that impressed with your band, you could take them back to maybe the first time they seen, Neil Young in concert, or the first time they heard a Neil Young song on the radio. And I mean, you must get that at your gigs, people coming up to you after you guys get off stage and, oh man, you took me back the very first time I see Neil Young in concert. Man, you guys were that good.
Yeah, it's surprising how often you get that. That was something I wasn't expecting. But you get that from people, and I get it because there are times where we're in moments where it just feels so like we pulled everybody in.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing. I mean, I've experienced that myself. Story I tell people often is I went to see this tribute band here in LA called Hollywood Roses. They're obviously a Guns N' Roses tribute, and the whole band looked just like the original Guns N' Roses. The singer looked so dead on like Axl Rose from 1987. But I had to pinch myself for a minute. I thought, I realized I'm at a tribute show. I'm at the Whiskey Go-Go, but this is probably as close I'm ever going to get to see Axl / playing on stage. They were just that good. And I think for a band,
maybe better considering
yeah,
the band who was constantly having issues on stage.
Yeah.
Might be getting a better show.
Yeah, you really might be. And so I've experienced that myself. And then I tell people too. I often get asked, why do you interview these tribute bands? And part of the reason is I've been to a lot of these tribute shows like what you put on, and I enjoyed it immensely. Like I said, I think of it as rock and roll theater. And there's also the flip side where there's a huge misconception. A lot of people are under the myth that guys that play or musicians that play in tribute bands they're failed musicians. They couldn't make it doing their own original thing. Which again, that's not been my experience. If anything, I've seen all the hard work and dedication that goes on to putting on a successful tribute act. Because again, if you're not dedicated to your craft and you're not doing this for the love of what you do, you're not going to go very far. So that's what people fail to realize. There's a lot. I mean, you're talking to a guy that can't even strum a guitar. So for you to even be able to get up on stage, Steve, and play the music of Neil Young on your guitar, that's something I could never do. So that's why I have all the respect in the world for guys that do what you do.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I get what you say a lot of the whole weird competition kind of thing that some musicians find themselves in. I never understood it. I've written tons of songs, put out records in the 80s and the 90s, and did all that kind of stuff. There comes a point, somebody made it clear to me a long time ago before I was doing the original stuff, which makes a lot of sense. There really are only 10 spots in the top 10.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying, but not everybody's going to get there. So because you didn't get there and you're doing something else has no bearing on your talent.
Yeah.
That's just the luck of the draw, And so at this age, like I said, this band started out as we want to be in a band again before. What are we going to do and have fun with it? And this is what it turned into.
How cool? Yeah, how cool is that?
So it's for the love of the music. That's why we're doing it. We're not doing it for the money. In fact, sometimes we lose our money because we spend a lot of money on a good show.
Yeah.
But we're up there having a hell of a good time, and people are digging it, and people are coming back, and people are asking us to come back and play. So it's been a success. Are we rich? No.
No. But again,
no, it's not ours to sell.
but again,
we're having the time of our life doing this.
But again, success is different things to different people. I mean, are you a multimillionaire? No, but at the same time, you're doing what you love, and there's a certain beauty be able to make a decent living doing what you're doing, and able to kind of break even or whatever. But you're doing what you enjoy, and not everybody can not everybody has that luxury, if you know what I mean.
Right.
And so now, like you were talking earlier, when people think of Neil Young or even Crosby, Stills, and Nash and Young, a lot of people typically think, oh, this is hippie music. But are you at all surprised that that all the people like come to see you guys in concert? I mean, are you surprised that there's that many hippies and people still coming to listen to this type of music?
No, not really, because I'm an old hippie myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not surprising. I guess it might be in circles, but like I said, I think we kind of expect it, and that's kind of why the whole idea of the Neil Young thing was like you said earlier. There's a huge fan base.
Yeah.
We knew that going into this. Like this isn't going to be too hard to sell because the only thing we need to do to make it sell to people is do it right. Play it right. But as far as the concept and the idea of Neil Young and his music, no, he's huge up there in Seattle. He was just here a few weeks ago, and it was the talk of the town. So
yeah, and I'm sure I'm sure you don't know the man himself, but I was just curious if do you have any idea of him or any of his management or anybody's aware of what you guys are doing?
What's that?
Well, yeah, I mean, when you guys form a band, like, did you reach out to any of his people just to say, hey, we're a Neil Young tribute? I was just curious, if you had heard any kind of feedback of what, if if they know of what you guys are doing.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything.
Well, that's
in fact, we kind of joked around with the name that we're using, and we might get some sort of lawsuit or shooting disorder kind of thing because we're using the name. So and we're keeping it because maybe that makes the story help too.
Yeah.
We got shut down by Neil Young himself.
Well, it's kind of funny because it depends on who we're talking about, but there's certain artists. I'm not going to name any names, but that just don't see the beauty in what tribute bands are all about. And then there's some musicians who just love it. I mean, I know a fact that I interviewed a guy, Bart Walsh. He used to be the guitar player in Atomic Punks, which is a great Van Halen tribute. And David Lee Roth picked this guy out of Atomic Punks and hired him to play guitar in his solo band, before he went back to Van Halen. So, I mean, these kind of things happen, with guys playing in tribute band, and it's an amazing story, when you hear things like that.
Well, sure. The guy who sang for Journey a few years back, got discovered on YouTube singing Journey songs,
Yeah. I mean, I even talked to this guy that his name is Chris Vandell, and he does a great Steven Tyler tribute out of Las Vegas, and he told me that he actually has become great friends with Steven, and he said this guy looks so much like Steven Tyler. He's telling me that every year he gets invited to Steven's New Year's party that he throws, and he said one year, he goes, we played a little joke on Steven's son, and Steven was hiding, and he actually thought I was his father. He says, just imagine that for a minute. Yeah.
That's a good story.
Yeah, the last thing, the last thing
we kind of toyed with the idea of the idea with the name itself, that Neil Young's were kind of take over. Neil Young might find that kind of fascinating. He might want to see who's got the balls to call themselves me. And go check us out.
Oh yeah. You never know. You never know. I mean, especially being on Facebook and all over the internet, because I interviewed this other guy from Rolling Stones tribute, and he told me, he says, at first we had no idea that Mick Jagger was even aware of what we were doing. You got to figure too, Mick Jagger, a guy that lives all the way in England. He says that, but one of Mick Jagger's assistants or something started communicating with this Rolling Stones tribute, through email, and he would send Mick Jagger, video clips of this tribute band, doing the Rolling Stones, and Mick just loved the videos that his assistants sent of these guys. So it's just amazing, to think that Neil Young might actually be aware of what you guys are doing.
Yeah, we kind of thought about that. It'd be kind of interesting to see,
Yeah,
and I don't think he cares.
Yeah.
He cares what we're doing. I don't think we'll be shut down for it.
You've been doing it long enough that I think if he did care and he was aware of what you were doing, that you would have heard by now. So the fact that you haven't heard one way or the other, that's
exactly. And I don't think we're hurting his career at all.
Yeah. If anything, you're helping it. Yeah. You're keeping.
Maybe.
You're keeping it out there. So how many times have you seen the man in concert yourself? Quite a few.
I more times than I can remember. Like I said, I saw him first time when I was 14, and I tried to see him every time he was in town. And I've never been disappointed. So, I maybe 30 times.
Oh wow! And so I was curious, when you were coming up as a musician, did you start out as a guitar player and then kind of went into singing as well, or were you always a singer too?
I always fancied myself both.
Oh.
I was a big Beatles fan from.
Oh wow!
I was raised with it in the house. I was a few months old when they did the Ed Sullivan Show, and I just grew up with Beatles music, and my dad was a country music, so the combination of Beatles and country obviously led to things like Neil Young and the Eagles and God Save National.
Oh wow! Wow!
I've just had it always around. So.
And all those.
When I first started playing, I learned on acoustic guitar, singing, playing harmonica.
Yeah.
It was that concert when I saw Neil Young, and kind of just that I saw that. It's like that's what I want to do.
And what a.
I want to do that.
Yeah. What a great bunch of what a huge mix of influences. And the thing about all those bands you mentioned, they're all great songwriters. Any number of those bands, if you take the Beatles, the Eagles, even Neil Young, like we've been talking about, all great songwriters, all great storytellers. That's I think that's the key to really being a successful musician. I mean, you could be the best looking musician, but if you don't have the songs, if you don't have songs that got great hooks and stuff, people are going to remember. You're not going to go that far,
Right, well, exactly, and I think that's one thing people miss about Neil Young too as an electric guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
He gets dissed a lot for not doing all the fast runs, but I think he tells a better story with an electric guitar than most people.
Yeah.
That's what he is when he's playing electric guitar. He doesn't do these long jams. He's telling a story. If you let yourself flow with it, you'll realize that he's taking you on a trip.
Yeah.
Somewhere when he's playing. It's nothing. You can do more with one note than most people can do with 20.
Yeah. And you telling me, Steve, earlier, part of the reason that you formed the Neil Youngs is, after seeing many of your friends and other tribute bands do pretty successfully for years. But when you got the Neil Youngs together, were you at all surprised to see? I mean, again, you're typically playing music created by some other guy. This even isn't your own original music, but at the same time, you're able to build up a nice little fan base. I mean, you must be amazed when you go on your Facebook page every day and you get messages from people you probably never even met, but they're coming to check out your band shows and they're telling you how impressed they are with your band, and that's got to be a great feeling,
Yeah, it is. I can say yes to all that.
Yeah. I mean, does it ever blow your mind? Like, wow, I'm just a guy who plays in a tribute band, but man, got a pretty nice career going here. Like you said, at least it's a way to make a living.
Well, I don't know if it blows my mind or anything. I keep it all in perspective.
Yeah.
It definitely doesn't go to our head.
That's a good thing too. That's a good thing. Yeah. Well, Steve, I've really enjoyed talking to you. It's been great. Is there anything that we haven't touched on that you'd like to let people know about before we let you go?
Well, just to kind of point out that it wasn't I that created the band. It was Andy, the other guitar player. This was all his doing, his idea. He wrote me into it.
Wow.
And we've been working on it together since, so I'd like to just give a shout out to him for getting this thing going.
Oh, wow, cool.
He's playing in a couple other tribute bands. He plays it in John Mellencamp band and a Tom Petty band, Petty Peeps.
Okay, he's probably the one that told me, because I'm actually I'd sent an email to the John Mellencamp tribute, and I think it was Andy, and he said, you should talk to my friend Steve. He's in a Neil Young tribute, and I know he'd love to talk to you. So that's pretty cool.
He probably knows that I'll probably be more talkative than he's probably why.
Okay, well.
And we're really proud of this Neil Young thing we're doing too. It's really taken off.
And so I guess
I just want to give a shout out to him for all this hard work.
And I just before we end this, I'd like to give a shout out to Andy. Never met the man myself, but just kind of learning what you just told us. But he's the guy that formed the band. He's the guy that suggested that I do this interview with you. Steve, I got to say, Andy was right in that you gave a really great interview. You're so easy to talk to. So I want to thank both of you guys for taking the time to talk about your band, and we'll have to do it again, Steve. And the interview will be going up probably about 2 or 3 weeks from now. Once it does, I'll let you know. But thanks so much, and you take care, my friend.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Jason, and let everybody know to look us online, neilyoungs.com, or on Facebook, or facebook.com/Neil Youngs. Friend us, like us, do whatever. Check us out.
We will do that.
Not much. We're in the Seattle area, but we hope to hit Oregon and Idaho and Montana sometime soon. But it's semi-local. But yeah, we're out and about, and keep an eye out for it.
Okay, well, yeah. And once again, we've been talking to Steve Crabtree, one of the Neil Young, from the Neil Youngs, based out of Seattle, Washington. Thanks so much, Steve, and I'll be in touch. Take care, my friend.
Great, Jason. Thanks a lot, man.
Bye-bye.